That beat going crazy.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. This one's a little bit different. It's a little bit more of a vlog today. I haven't been on the bike for a little while. It's the new year. I've been getting back into work and the weather has been so cold. Actually, today is supposed to be the coldest day of the year. I think it's going to be the coldest day of the year apparently. So yeah, so we're having like -4, -5 degrees today. I think it's about maybe 2 degrees now. So yeah, really cold day. And funny enough, the coldest day of the year is the day that I did my mod 2 exam. So I've been so concerned about the weather. I had a lesson on Tuesday and it was absolutely freezing, and we were out for most of the day. I would say we started out about 10 o'clock till about 4 o'clock we were on the road, so, and not much break in between, so it was frozen by the end of the day. So I was thinking today is supposed to be even colder, and I've got my test today. And I know when I did my mod 1, it was cold as well, but not as cold, and it really did give me issues, cause me problems. So, but I passed my mod 2. So I wanted to do this video just to sort of let you know, number one, that I passed it, and also to just give my little take on my experience of doing a motorcycle test from beginning to end, because I'm sure there's plenty of people that are going to be going through the same process as I am. So if you know anything about motorcycle tests, I'm sure you do if you're watching the video. There's a series of tests, unlike your car test, where you basically do a theory test and a driving test. Depending on what route you take, if you take the route that I took for the A license, which is a full license, non-restricted, I think you need to be at least 24, if I'm correct, to be able to go through the straight through to the full license. So you've got to do a CBT first. I had to do the CBT because I did a CBT when I was young. I used to have 125. I remember I had my first ever bike was an Aprilia RS50. Got it brand new. The first time I ever rode it was on my test. They got delivered to the test, and I actually rode it on my test, and I passed. That was like 90, maybe 97, 98. So it's like a long time ago, like really long time ago, 20 something years ago. After that, once I got used to it, I upgraded it to in Aprilia RS125 Extrema. I remember that. Part exchanged it in the same shop, went up a bit in size, rode that for a while, and then got into cars and stuff like that. I never rode for a good couple of years, and then I ended up getting a moped, which I just had alongside my car, because I used to do a lot of runs in central London at the time. So I bought a Piaggio Gilera Runner. It was a 125, lovely little scooter that was. So that's my experience before getting back onto bikes. Now in 2023, I jumped back into it. I decided I want to get my full license. I always have. If you're watching the videos, you would see that I'm building currently a VFR 400 NC30 bike I've always wanted to have, and I've decided to build one. So I said, you know what, let me get my license now. And I was trying to time it so I could build a bike, get the bike finished, and have my license ready to go so I could get straight on the road with it. The bike's not finished. There's a few bits to do, but now I'm really going to be pushing to get it finished because I have my license now. I ended up getting the license before I finished the bike. So this was the process that I had to go through. So I had to do the CBT, which I did a couple months ago. I did pass my CBT. Your CBT, you do sort of the first half of the day you do in the car park, doing maneuvers, just getting used to the bike. Obviously I had some experience on the bike. You can do your CBT on a automatic scooter if you want, or you can do it on a gear bike. I did it on a gear bike because obviously I wanted to get some practice, get used to gear bikes again, because I haven't ridden for so long. Seeing that I'm going for my full license, I might as well get on the gear bike. So I actually was the only person on a test. There were 3 of us on the test. I was on a gear bike. The other 2 people were on scooters. They unfortunately didn't pass the first part, which is the car park, all the maneuvers and everything. So the instructor wasn't confident enough to take them out on the road, or didn't feel they were confident enough to go on the road safely. So it ended up just being me and the instructor who did the road part of the test. So because it was two of us, he was quite cool. He's obviously an avid biker, so he was like, let's just go for a ride, you know. So we ended up taking a nice ride. I think we started in Eltham, where I did my tests, and we ended up all the way in Dalston, and then we made our way back and finished it there. I got my CBT, I passed. So that was the first thing I did. Then I booked, after that I booked my theory test. You need to do your theory test. You can do your theory test anytime. You don't have to wait to do your CBT. You can do your theory test before you even start doing your CBT if you want. Get it out of the way. But you need your theory test before you can do your mod 1. So I then booked my theory test. I failed my first theory test. It was so annoying. I failed it on the hazard perception. Basically, there's two parts to the theory test. The first section that you do on the test is all done on the computer in an office sort of environment. It's like multiple choice, mostly multiple choice. And they ask you, there's 50 questions, and I can't remember exactly how much time. I think you got about 15 minutes to do it. There's 50 questions you have to answer, and you need to get, someone's gonna correct me if I'm wrong, I think you need to get something like 41 or 42. I can't remember exactly how many you need to get right to pass it, to pass the multiple choice section. I actually got 49 out of 50, so I sort of aced that part of the test. Then the hazard perception part is a section where various sort of CGI videos are played. So it's from the point of view as you being the rider on the road, and you can see, you know, you're driving down these different roads and stuff, and you're looking for potential hazards, generally things that would cause you to brake, things that would cause you to change and swerve or move direction. So you're looking out, and you have to be looking ahead, and you have to be planning. So you've got to see potential dangers early. So maybe you can see there's a dog down the road that might be off the leash, and it looks like it could be run out on the road, or a child, or a vehicle that's maybe going to start signaling to pull out. So you're going to be able to see those things ahead of time, so that you can be prepared to slow down rather than having to do emergency stops and stuff like that. So that's what the hazard perception is. Now, the way it works is, again, I'm not sure exactly how the scoring is. I can't remember what the scoring is of it. But what you do is, when you see a potential hazard, or when you feel that it's a potential hazard's coming up, you click the mouse, you click the screen, and you can click up to, I think, safely 5 times. This is my experience and what I would advise, because I did it twice. So you you see a hazard and you think, oh, there's a hazard. You can sort of click it, and the more accurate you are as far as when you should have clicked it, the more points you get. So if you click it bang on when you should have clicked it, I think you get 5 points. And then after that point, every sort of split second you click after, you'll get 4 points, then 3 points, then 1 point, and then if you've clicked it too late, then you'll get no points. So I messed up on that, and I think the reason why is I was watching a lot of videos and people were saying, you know, because if you click too many times, then you'll get a 0 point for that. So you can't just start spamming the screen and clicking just to make sure that you get it in the right time. So I was too cautious, where I was afraid to click too many times. So I would click like twice, whereas if you click sort of 5 times, maybe you're more likely to get sort of closer to the 5, which is what you want. You want the larger number on points, so that you can tally up your score. So I ended up failing the hazard perception. So then I had to book it again, went again, passed it second time, actually got 49 again on my multiple choice. And the hazard perception, I can't remember what I got, but I did get quite a good score on hazard perception, because I just watched a lot of videos. I actually paid for the DVLA website. There's you can pay, and then you get to practice mock tests I think you have it for like a month or something. So I paid for that. I can't remember which it was, which was really good because I just kept practicing it, and then I understood the timing a lot better and how many times I should click. So you get lots and lots of practice of that. So that's what I did. Aced it the second time. Then I was able to book my mod 1. So I called up my test center, the same place that I did my CBT. They booked the test for me, and they also booked me in for 2 days of training. So basically I booked 2 days of training and 1 day for the test. So I had my training on a on a Monday and a Tuesday, and I had the Wednesday off, and then I had my mod 1 test on the Thursday. So that's how I did it. So when I went for the mod 1, as I was saying, it was absolutely freezing, and I just was struggling to concentrate because also my test was really early. So because my test was at 8:15, I had to be at my instructor, training school at 6:30 in the morning, and then we have a 45-minute ride to the test center, which is in Enfield. So by that time I was already freezing. By the time we got to Enfield, it was like 7:30. We do some practice in the area. There's some big car parks nearby. Our instructor put some cones out. We did some practice and stuff. So the mod 1 is basically a test that's done in a car park. It's about 10 to 15 minutes. There's about 11 different obstacles that you have to do, or maneuvers that you have to show that you can do. You can't fail on any of them. You've got to pass every single one of those 11. A lot of people feel that, and I feel it a little bit as well, that the mod 1 is a little bit more nerve-wracking because you're being judged, like you're being watched like a hawk on each different thing that you're actually doing. And sorry guys about the noise. Okay, kids are looking in. So you're being judged like at every single thing that you do. And also when you're doing the maneuvers, most of them are slow maneuvers. You can't put your foot down. So if your foot touches the ground for any reason, like you're losing balance and you put your foot down, it's a fail. There are you can get some minors, but obviously you can't get a major, which is essentially putting your foot down as one of the majors. Not observing, looking over your shoulders when you're about to do a maneuver, which you must do. You can fail on that. They call that the lifesaver look. One of the places people struggle a lot, or seem to struggle a lot, is the U-turn. And I found once I'd practiced it enough, I really got the hang of it. I was very comfortable with it. And how I practiced it when we were with my instructor was like, I was aiming to sort of do it like 20 times in a row without getting it wrong. Do you know what I mean? Just do it and go do it again and do it again and do it again. Things I found quite easy: the figure of 8 and the slalom, which you go through cones like a slalom, and then when you get to the last cone, then you start doing a figure of 8, maybe like twice. So you've got to do that on the test. I found that quite easy to do. You've got to do controlled stops. You've got to do riding at slow speed, and there are 3 high-speed maneuvers which you have to do. You've got to go all the way down this long car park. You turn all the way around, and then you come down approaching this sort of like a speed camera, and you've got to be doing sort of at least 31, 32 miles an hour when you go through the camera, just to show that you're at least that sort of speed. So it's good to sort of aim for like 35 miles an hour, and that way you're going to definitely be over it and not too fast. If you're too much under it, then you fail because you're going too slow. So you do that, and you have to do an emergency stop. That's one of the high speed ones you do. You've got to do a control stop. So once you pass the speed camera, then you've got to slow down. It's just like if you were approaching the traffic lights at high speed, and then at some point you've got to gradually brake and slow down, and you've got to stop at the cones, which would be where your giveaway line would be. And then the last one, which is what I failed on, is the hazard avoidance, I think it is, where you basically go through the cones at 30, 32, 33 miles an hour, and then once you go past the camera, there's a cone right in front of you, and you've got to swerve around the cone quickly and avoid it, as if you're avoiding something or someone in the road or something like that. So you need to do that, and I failed on that. So I remember it so vividly that I was doing so well, and I'd literally had no minors. I was doing so well, and when I came to do the last maneuver, which was that one, go all the way down the car park about 20 miles an hour, take the bend. So I'm bombing it down now about 35 miles an hour, and as soon as I've taken the corner, I've had this brain freeze where I can't remember what way he said to go, whether he told me I should swerve to the left or swerve to the right, because it's going to be different. Sometimes they'll tell you swerve to the left, you might go with another instructor will say swerve to the right, and I blanked and I just panicked. I didn't know what to do, and I literally just went straight through the cone. I just hit the cone, went straight through. I didn't even attempt to swerve it. And I remember the guy looking at me like, you know, what happened sort of thing, because obviously I was doing so well and I didn't even, it just didn't make sense. And I just said, oh, I don't know. My brain just froze and I totally forgot what I was supposed to do. And I was just lost concentration. So that was the first time, my first experience. I was absolutely gutted, but I was like, you know what? I'm committed to this. I'm going to go again. Straight away, I booked the next one. I came back and I was perfect. I had no minors on my second one. So I got through my mod 1. And it's the same day I finished my mod 1. I booked my mod 2. And I was waiting for it for about... I booked it since sort of, I think, first week in December or something like that. So second week in December. So I had like 4 weeks wait. So I've just been waiting and waiting to do this. And I've not had any lessons between December last year and now we're January the 18th. I had one lesson 2 days ago on the 16th. So I had booked one lesson to have it 2 days before my test. So I had a lesson on the 16th, which was Tuesday. And it went really well. It was, you know, we just spent the entire sort of almost 8 hours on the road. So it was lots of practice. I also watched lots of videos of YouTube of other instructors teaching and other people doing their mod 2s, because I picked up a lot of things that hadn't been taught to me. Because in that one day, they're just not going to be able to get through everything. So you got to do your own practice. You got to do your own reading of the roads. Because even though you drive a car like I do, I've been driving a car for like 25 years. There's a lot of the practices of riding a bike that don't apply or are different. So you can't ride a bike the way you drive a car, and you can't drive a car the way you ride a bike. You will fail. So it's like you've got to learn new things and get out of other habits that you're used to doing, or just understand when you're riding a bike and you're riding defensively and you've got to ride a different way than you would drive as a car. So watch lots of videos. I watch a lot of people doing their mod 2. So thanks for all those people who put all their mod 2 tests out there and film it for other people to see what the test is like and to see how they're on the test. And you know, I learned so much from watching those videos, and I spent the last 2 days every night just going through YouTube videos and sitting there and watching people do their mod 2s and stuff. I think it was really helpful of me doing that as well. And then today, Thursday, I had my test at 12:20 in the afternoon. Thankfully, it was a bit later in the day, so it wasn't as cold and not as cold as I thought it was going to be today, being today's supposed to be the coldest day. So I had to meet at the test center at 10:30, probably headed out about 11, you know, 45 minute ride to Enfield. Got down to Enfield about 11:30, 11:45. And the other person that was riding with us, it was a lady. She was actually doing her mod 1. So we got to the test center. I just waited while they went off and done some mod 1 practicing, and I just waited for my test for about 30 minutes. Then my test, this was interesting. So had quite a guy who came out. He was really nice, really friendly. So I thought this is a good start. He was really, really friendly. You know, sort of, you know, talked to me really nice. And it seemed like it was someone that was just here to help you to get through the test. So I was really already feeling confident because I had such a good ride to the test center, and I was riding as if I was on a test, as if I was really being judged. And I was, you know, talking to myself and saying, you know, look ahead, look out for your you know, road markings, check your, you know, maneuvers, observes, and blah blah blah, just whatever, you know, check your mirrors before you brake. I was doing all that and just repeating it all to myself and practicing. And then, so I was quite confident. And then I met this guy, and he did make me feel quite relaxed. I thought, okay, I've got this. So then the first thing you do, he takes you over to your bike. He checks your documents and stuff, make sure you got all your right documents. You got to bring all your documents. If you forget to bring your driving license, your CBT, your mod 1 pass certificate, your theory test, you're going to fail. There's a fail straight away. He's not going to even take you out. So you have to remember to bring your documents, pack them in the car before you leave. If you're going to be driving, put them in your coat, in your bag before you leave the night before, so you don't forget it. So anyway, he checks all the documents. He took me over to the bike, and they do what is called a show and tell. Sorry, guys. So this is where they ask you, I think, about 3 questions, and typically they'll ask you one thing, tell them something about the bike. My question was about tires. So they ask you something like, how do you check your tires if they're okay? So you have to give a couple of answers. So I had to check the pressure of the tires, for instance, check the minimum tread depth of the tires, 1 millimeter, and where you should check and stuff like that. I think, what was the other thing? Check for cuts and bulges and damage to the tire and stuff like that. So he said, yeah, great answer, well done, thank you very much. You know, he put it into like his iPad. Then he asked me about, you know, if you're carrying a passenger, you know, what should you tell them and stuff like that. So I got all the answers for that. And then he asked me to show him how the horn works. So I think that's where you actually physically show them something on the bike. So one thing, you tell them the answer, and another thing is you got to show them. So as in, like, you show me your brakes working or something like that. So all I had to do is turn the ignition on, press the horn. He's like, yeah, great, thank you. So I got all those right. You do get a minor. If you get any of those wrong, you get a minor. If you get them all wrong, you get a minor. So there's a minor you can lose by getting that wrong. I didn't get any of them wrong. And you really want to study those, because you don't want to waste a minor on something that should be quite straightforward and simple. So I was like, I don't want to miss a minor. So I've studied all the answers. So I done that. Then he said he gives you a headpiece so he can speak to you. It's a one-way radio. He can speak to you. You can't speak to him. So he's going to be directing you along the way where you should turn, etc., etc. So this is where I sort of made a mistake. Is when he gave it to me, he put it on. He was down the other end of the car park. So he said to me, you know, can you hear me? Whatever. And to be honest, I couldn't hear him very well. I don't know if I just didn't have it in properly. I could hear him in the car park, but the level was quite low. It was quite low. But I just thought, didn't want to be too troublesome. I just said, yeah, I can hear you. Because I could hear him, but not as good as I would have liked to have heard him. The problem is, when I got on the road, it's a lot noisier. Cars are driving by. You've got the wind when you're riding the bike, especially when you're doing the higher speeds. The road noise. So as soon as we started off, he told me, you know, start moving, I'll direct you where to go. So I've moved up to the road. He says take a right at the junction. I've done my signal, my indicators, whatever. I've moved off, and now we've got onto the road now. So we're starting to speed up now, 30-40 miles an hour. And at this point, the first time he said to me, I think he said take a left at the roundabout, I realized I could barely hear what he said. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem, because I can't really hear what he's saying. And even when I got past the next roundabout and we got to the traffic lights, I started tapping my ear. I wanted him to be aware, maybe, that I was having some problem. He didn't say anything. So anyway, we got going. Then we got to this big roundabout. Now he was telling me something to do, and this is where I really thought early in the test that I had failed, because he gave me an instruction and I really couldn't hear what he was saying. So I didn't know where he was telling me go, left, right, straight over. And my advice is, if you're in a situation where you're not sure where to go, you won't fail for going the wrong way. Okay, your instructor will probably tell you this. If you go the wrong way, if he says go left at the lights and you go right at the lights, as long as you're allowed to go right at the lights, and you do it correctly, safely, signal, whatever, and you go the wrong way, he's not going to fail you. You can't fail you for that. He will fail you if you've done the turn wrong. You've gone right when you shouldn't go right or whatever. But what he will probably end up doing is just end up directing you and make you come back to where he wants you to go. So I knew that as long as I rode safely and correctly, even if I went the wrong way, I should be all right. But yeah, there was just a few things when I was just questioning. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I did it right. I don't think I did it right. And at this point, I thought I failed it. But another thing as well, I got another tip from people. Even if you think you fail, don't focus on that. Just keep going as if nothing's happened. Because one, I kept saying to myself, well, what if he only give me a minor? What if I didn't do that wrong? What if I was, because I was second guessing myself. I was like, you know what? Just keep going, keep going. And then we got to another thing where I couldn't hear him again. I was like, oh, I don't know, you're on the right lane. And then I thought, I've definitely failed now. And then I was like, you know what? Just ride. You know, just ride. And then there was times he was talking to me when he got close, and I could hear when we slowed down, I could hear him. And he was just like, even, you know, sort of just said things like, oh, you know, if you're whatever, when you've got right of way, you know, it's up to you if you want to do whatever. So I thought, okay, he's sort of speaking to me like, you know, just keep going on, whatever, sort of reassuring me almost. And so yeah, when I got to the when I got back to the test center now, he's told me, when you go in, pull in and park up here, take off your keys, take off your helmet, and meet me down at the other side. So I've done that. I've got off now, so got to the building. He's gone into his office. He said, wait out here. Then he's come out and said, okay, come in. And he said, if you want your instructor to come in as well for the feedback, you can come. Some instructors come in. And he's just like, he's laid straight into me. He's like, you was on that lane, you was meant to be there, and you was there, and you was meant to be there, blah, 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 blah. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? I was like, oh, I failed, and now he's just gonna grill me of what I did wrong. So I said to him, I was literally just saying to my instructor that I was struggling to hear you, and he wasn't having a bar of it. He was just like, no, you could hear because you signaled left, so you knew you had to do that, blah, 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 blah. But then in the end, he said, you know, but you corrected it, you did it right, so you did that safely, blah, 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 blah. But however, this is what you should do, whatever. I was like, cool, yeah, got that understood. I thought, I'm not going to argue with him, like, because I don't want to be arguing with him. And he fails me, and I've got to come back here again, and he's just going to be, like, peed off with me already, right? So I'm just taking it all in. Yeah, you know, get the bollocking and whatever. I just, yeah, sure, no problem. And then he said, well, you know, you've passed. You know, well done. At this point, I didn't even know if I'd passed. I thought I'd failed, and he was just telling me, like, you failed, sort of thing. And then he said, you've passed. And he said, you know, you ride really well, blah, 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 but just look out for this and whatever. So at this point, I'm just beaming inside. Like, I'm just like, yes, I've done it. And, yeah, so he's just, you know, giving me some tips. And then they ask you about your driving license. He asked me to see my driving license again, because you've got to fill in the forms and stuff. And what they can do is they can take your license and they can send it off, and you get a new license in the post. Make sure your address is the correct address on your license that you're updated to wherever you're living now, so they don't send it to your old address. And then they'll send you a new license, which will have the new added category for bikes on there, so you got a full bike license. So I actually didn't send mine off because I'm going on holiday tomorrow and I need to rent a car. So he even said that, because I said to him, oh, do I need to give him my license? And he said, oh, I'm going to get to that. And then he said, yeah, you can keep the license if you've got another test tomorrow, or if you've got a rental to rent. And I said, yeah, I'm going on holiday tomorrow and I need it to, because I have to bring my ID, my driving license. So he said, oh, fine, no problem. So he gave it back to me. So he just says that when I come back from holiday, I've got to go to the post office, get the relevant document, and I've got to fill it in myself, and I've got to post it off myself. So I would have liked them to have just done it, but unfortunately, I'm going on holiday tomorrow, and I won't be able to rent a car without my driving license. So I had to take it back, you know. So yeah, that was that. And then yeah, he was really nice. He asked me where am I going on holiday and whatever. And then, you know, he shook my hand and said, well done, you know, be safe, and those things that I told you, whatever. And that was it. So I was happy. The other person, it was a lady who was with us. She did the mod 1. She also passed, which was great. So, you know, we both rode up together and we both passed, and we both rode home or rode back together with our instructor. The ride back was the most fun ride, because you're just so happy. It's just like, you know, I've passed and everything. And went back and thanked all my instructors and everything. And that's the last time I'm going to have to see them now. So I don't have to go for any more lessons. So now I am officially legally allowed to ride any motorcycle in the UK, pretty much any size. I don't need L plates. I can also carry passengers as well, obviously, as long as I'm insured. I can carry passengers, no L plates, any size bike I want. Obviously, you guys seen the bike I'm riding is a 400cc. It's actually a little bit less power than the bike that I've been using for my test, so that gives me some confidence as well, that I'm not jumping into some sort of monster R1 or something like that that's gonna have 200 brake horsepower or something stupid like that. I think the bikes that we were using are the MT-07. Yamaha MT-07 is what I was riding on most of the time, and I think it's somewhere around 90 bhp, I think. Whereas my bike is sort of like 60, 70 brake horsepower or something like that. 60, I think it is. So I'm riding a less powerful bike. So, you know, I'm still going to be learning to ride, really. So I think it's good that I've got a less powerful bike to get really used to the roads, and then later on, you know, I can upgrade. I already got my eyes set on my next bike, which will be a project for the channel, and I hope when I've finished the NC30 to do a Ninja 750, Kawasaki Ninja 750. That's what I'd love to rebuild. So hopefully that will be the next channel bike that I'll get to do, and that will be my next bike that I'll own. Yeah, so yeah, that's it really. I just wanted to just sort of vlog it and just tell you guys all my experience and to share it with you guys. And now I'm ready to get this bike on the road. Once I do get the bike on the road, I've already got a GoPro. I plan to do some tours and rides and stuff on the bike, you know, ride videos and stuff like that. So hopefully I can get this bike going as soon as possible, get it for an MOT, and I can get my insurance, and then I'm good to go. So yeah, that's it guys. So I just want to share that with you. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, let me know your thoughts and comments or whatever, anything, any questions as well. Maybe if you're going to be doing your test, you might have any questions. I might be able to help from my own personal experiences. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe and all that stuff. And if you like to see bike build videos, subscribe so you can see me building the bikes that I'm building on the channel. Yeah, so that's it guys. So until the next video, I will see you. So take care and thanks for watching.
That beat going crazy.